Hey everyone, welcome to Real Mob Stories with James Proctor. And today we're going to discuss the video Dominick Cicale did yesterday regarding a contract that was put out on his head. I have some inside knowledge on what happened and the threats against Dominic, and I want to share those with you. Plus, I spoke with Dom this morning and he gave me some additional information. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Just wanted everyone to know that I've been under the weather the past couple of days, so I apologize if I haven't been able to respond to your comments, but I'm trying to catch up. So anyway, without further delay, on to our feature presentation. I did a story about a week ago on EG Vodka, where I talked about where some of the partners were doing some questionable activities, and I had called Dominic, wanted to get his statements on what was going on based on the court case I found. And while I was talking to him, he had just been told earlier that morning about the contract that had been put out on him. And so he was fuming about it. At first he didn't want to tell me what was going on. And then, we talked about it. And finally he said what happened. Based on my journalistic integrity, I could not and would not break that story, especially because, people's lives could have been at stake. When I talked to him, he was just angry. Was Dom afraid? No, not at all. He was angry because it involved a guy named Hippie. They have a beef going back all the way to like 1988. And I just told Dom to be careful, but let's just say that Dom has this thing covered and nobody's going to want to roll up on him. And then this morning I spoke to Dominic again because I'm doing this show and I wanted to see if he had any additional statements. When I spoke to him a week ago, I wasn't sure that he was going to do a show about it. I wasn't sure if he was going to reveal what happened. I knew I wasn't going to put it out there, but then, obviously we know that Dominic brought it up. Based on that, I wanted to do a follow up on this. And so I spoke to Dom this morning. And, what I could tell from the conversation this morning, Dominic's not looking for trouble, but he's not going to back away either. The other thing was that he's not happy with Jeff Nadeau in his show yesterday because Jeff was insinuate it wasn't true and that he was making this up for views and subs. So Dom thought the show yesterday was bullshit that Jeff did, and that's not me saying that. That's Dom. He did say that Jeff did try calling him yesterday before he did the show, but wasn't available, and I believe they might have exchanged a couple of messages after the show. But Dom didn't like what was said in regards to question if this event actually happened. And Dominic also told me he's working on a lot of different things. That's why he hasn't been on YouTube lately, but he has been on other shows. He was on The Connect with Johnny Mitchell. I believe that's done nearly 700,000 views. And I actually have a little bit of breaking news. Dominick Cicale will be headed to Los Angeles soon to do a sit down with Vlad TV. I don't have a date, but it'll be soon. And so wanted to break that for you. Based on my conversations with Dominic, and like I said, I knew about this over a week ago when I was talking to him about the lawsuit that was taking place with EG Vodka. And then again, talking to him this morning. And I'm certain that this isn't a ploy to get views or subs. I know about the history between Dominic and this guy Hippie, and so it's not something that's new. One of the things I can say is that he's got people from the Bronx he still talks to. Dom has a good awareness of the things going on in the neighborhood. He knows the area of the Bronx where these guys are, but also told me that these guys really don't know his neighborhood. Based on what I can see, this thing doesn't want to go down because it'd be a bloodbath. Yeah. So dealing with the history of informants, that it is commonplace that if you cooperate or if you give information or if you betray that oath that yes, they put contracts out on you, does that mean that the contract's going to be executed? No, it doesn't. And especially today in 2024, the families are in New York, at least they're trying to just survive. They're not looking to catch more heat from law enforcement. That's what I think you have to worry about, is the lone nut that has nothing to lose, that just wants to do something. The thing is because of that history with Hippie and Dominic, the government would definitely be looking at him if something happens. So I don't think that anything will happen. Do I think that there was a threat? Yes, I do. I think it's more of a personal issue between Hippie and Dominic than the boss is saying, hey, we got to take this guy out. And so they're not doing that today in 2024. You have to take any threat like that seriously. And so, as you know, Dominick Cicale was a Bonanno, and it seems like a lot of these issues are with the Genovese. And just wanted to explain that Dominic, especially when he was growing up, he was around the Genovese family. The people that he was close to growing up, his uncles and different people. That's who they were part of. The reality is that he wanted to go on record with Bruno Indelicato, with the Bonanno family. And so he had to get released from the Genovese family. And that's what happened, because all intentions were that when Dominic got out of prison, he was going to be doing work with the Genovese. But, Dom had developed a close relationship with Bruno in prison, and he wanted to be on record, Bonanno family, which is what happened. And so now we're going to go through a 5-minute section of Dominic's show yesterday, and I wanted to give you some perspectives you might not know. Please visit Dominick Cicale's Mafia Roundtable and consider subscribing. Dominic gave this channel a nice shout out yesterday, and I just want to say thank you to Dominic for that.
But as we know, there's always been a contract on my life. It's neither here nor there. I'm going to tell some stories today about the past. We're going to tell stories about Johnny Joe, who is supposedly the underboss of the Bonanno crime family, Michael Hippie, who's a captain in the Genovese crime family, Patty Falsetti. I'll start telling some stories. First off, we're going to go into Michael Hippie. Michael Hippie and I go back way, way, way back. First time we were arrested together, it was on a gun charge. Gun was in his car. It was actually his gun. It was Michael Hippie, myself, and Ralph Talentino. We all got arrested. Hippie, we were in the holding cell for 3 days before we went to see a judge. I'm going to keep it real like I always do. Hippie was shitting his pants, took his gold chain off, passed it through the bars to me. He said, Dom, could you wear this, please? He was nervous, but that was just Hippie. Hippie was never a thug, a gangster. Hippie's the type of guy who needs 12, 13 guys behind him to fight. Always the fights are unfair. And that's just Hippie. Can he kill somebody? Absolutely, without a doubt. So back to Hippie, and where Hippie and I had bad blood. Came up from Florida, was looking to do a cocaine transaction. I think it was half a kilogram. Hippie had the kilo. I called up my old partner, Michael. Hey, you want? Michael's like, I don't want to meet anybody, Dom. So I told Hippie, just give me the key. I'll go meet him and then come back with the money. Hippie was like, no, I want to meet him. So right off the bat, I knew what time that was. He was going to cut me out after the first deal. So long and short of it all, I pulled out a 45 to Hippie. Hippie kicked him out of the car. He left without the coke. I robbed him, took the coke. And that was it. After that, he put a label on me. When I went away for murder, I came home after 17 months. That was the good time in Florida. And then caught a drug case. So while I was in for the drug case, Hippie put a label on me. I was a rat. I was no good. But Hippie's the type of guy, he never make it on his own. He always needed somebody. The way he got involved in the Genovese crime family, he wound up marrying Wahoo's daughter. To me, he's a punk. And the only time I saw Hippie on 2 occasions, I think Joe Barone brought it to my attention one time, and I forgot. We were at Louis and Ernie's Pizzeria and walked by each other, and he had nothing to say, one-on-one, nothing at all. And then another time, Tommy Lee's office in Morris Park. I'm there with Big Jimmy McManus. McManus is in the back. I'm out front. Hippie comes in with like 10 younger kids. They have no clue. They don't know what's going on. So I'm at one end of the desk, he's at the other, the counter. And Hippie said, Dom, why? And I'm like, just shrugging my shoulders. Let's go outside. And he's like, no. Like, shook his head, no. So to me, he was just a punk, stone cold punk. And Hippie's the type of guy, pulled out a gun, starts shooting in the air to people. He did that with Joey Jenny outside Lehman High School. So I have a lot of dirt on him, and I don't care for him. He don't care for me. So, Hippie, to me, you're a piece of shit. So anytime you feel froggy, just leap. Just leap, brother. But I know you're not going to come yourself because you a stone cold punk. Now we'll go to Johnny Joe. Johnny Joe.
Okay. So wanted to talk about, so who is this Hippie guy? So, I'm not going to give the full name of him, but the guy is definitely connected. He was friends with Dominick Cicale, in the mid 80s. And so what happened was, as you heard there, they were trying to unload a half a kilo. This guy Hippie, in my opinion, based on what I saw, he's definitely a capable guy. In 1990, he shot a guy named Armand in the Morris Park section of the Bronx. And then in 1995, this is a really high profile case. He shot this guy, Darren Massarelli, who was part of the Tanglewood Boys. He shot him, like 11 times at point blank range, and Darren ended up living, but then Darren ended up becoming an informant.
The only times he was capable, well, he did kill George from Canada, shot him in the back of the head, which is easy to do, folks. It doesn't take a rocket science. You don't have to have balls to do that. But when Johnny Joe did, back in the day, Johnny Joe got shot with a 9mm in his bathroom, got shot up. But back then he was drugging big time, doing coke, partying all the time. And I remember there was one time somebody bent his clip on his gun. He almost shot the guy for it, but he was all drugged out. We were drinking, partying, and he's come a long way through this. But he's another one. Again, you have a problem with me? Let's go, brother. I'm not a coward, that's for sure. And the best part of it all, I know where they all live.
Okay, so Johnny Joe, he's allegedly with the Bonanno crime family, and he's someone that's close with this guy Hippie. And so apparently they've been talking or whatever, and Johnny Joe he was the one that was involved in the murder of George from Canada, George Shasha. Definitely another capable guy. He was close to Dominic at one time.
I know where they all live, and I'll just leave it at that. So go get your little junkie, your drugged out friends. Keep on talking. And another thing, we'll go with Patty Falsetti. It's another guy, Genovese capo. He might be up there, consigliere now. Never did anything, never respected, is respected. Never did anything, always just a nice guy. So keep it at that, Patty. Keep it at that. And Ernie Barney, control Hippie.
Okay, so he's talking about, Uncle Patty Falsetti. And so, again, he was someone at one point was part of the 116th Street crew. And I know that he got some time for loan sharking back, I don't know, about 10 years ago. And he's out of prison now. And so, what he's doing now, I'm not sure.
I would control him if I were you, because you really don't want problems all the way around. Because I could give two fucks about all of you guys. So, and I'll just keep it at that.
Okay, so regarding Ernie, he's another guy that was a big deal with the 116th Street crew. I know that in 2002, allegedly he was acting boss of the Genovese family. He got indicted and sent to prison for a few years. He was involved with the International Longshoremen's Association. I know at some point that Hippie was under Ernie. Yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you today is my conversations with Dom. And, the final thing I wanted to say is that, some people may say, James, why do you have conversations with these informants? But what I'm trying to do is have a journalistic approach to these stories. It's about trying to dig in and get a story. And what I like to do is get stories from multiple sources and then that allows me to confirm what was said. With that said, please hit the like button. I'd love for you to subscribe to Real Mob Stories with James Proctor. And until next time, God bless you always.